Greetings, dear beautiful spirit soul that you are. It is a joy and a pleasure to be right here, right now with you. I acknowledge you, who you are. I acknowledge our unity, also our differences, and even our differences are part of the glory of our unity. Getting into the spirit. That's what I'm talking about, getting into the spirit. It's funny, alcohol is called a spirit. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of a poison. And I mean, there's also uses for it, you know. Yes, absolutely. But getting into the spirit. When I was a young mother, I had the realization that holidays and those kinds of events, picnics, were up to me. I was the mother. This is my job as part of the spiritual life, going to church and the spiritual center, and how this is. And the spirit of joy, the spirit of love, the spirit of fun, the spirit of what would you say? Of community. So if we want to get into the spirit, we have to acknowledge then ourselves as generating that consciousness, that beingness. And that I always say that you're a party going somewhere to happen. We're a home entertainment center. If it is to be, it's up to me in that sense. That when we have some knowledge of who we are and what's possible, our greatest gift that we can give to ourselves or to anyone else is to do our research, our studies into not the outer world, but the inner world of who we really are. The cause, in a sense, of the outer world, or our participation in it. And that when we get into the spirit of it, then we're not taken down by the outer world. We're not controlled by the creation. We're acknowledging ourselves as part of the cause, in that sense, of the effect. And yet we do not need to be affected by the effect. For when we recognize and realize we're in the spirit of the divine by being conscious and aware of who we are. And then, what may I say? We're not looking outside ourselves to feel good. And then we take our actions in alignment with who we are and the reality and the realm in which we choose to live and to be. And for me, it's always been my seeking what feels good. And without that worm of anxiety in the stomach. And with that sense of releasing the fear, the anxiety that grips the body and the mind. It's an enclosure. It's a web, a fear web, and then it permeates the mind, the consciousness, and every action. You see, and to transcend that, to get into the spirit of who we are, you have to recognize how you've been controlled by the mind and what it does by when we believe it and we accept it, and all that entails, whether it's in books, movies, our languages, our numbers, all of this, and how we've built our lives around being good enough, built our lives around creating a false ego, a false persona, a life of forgetting who we really are. And now let's remember. We recognize where that goes, we recognize what that is, and how we bring forth the new world, or the real, or the true, or the divine, is to be that ourselves. And then when we are that, in our world is that. You see? And when you're in the spirit of it, you don't take on someone else's world. And sometimes you merge with another's world because that world enhances your world. And your intention is to enhance the love and the joy and the true beingness of the real entities, the real beings, and the fullness of who we really are. Yeah. So, to me, the value of holidays and special opportunities and spiritual services is to help us get into the feeling of being lifted and transcended above as an observer, a witness, and also a participator at the level of who we really are. Yeah. And we could all do that right where we are.